Time for a sacral check-in. Let's just bypass all the bullshit that you got going on in your mind and just get down to how you actually feel about what's going on in your life. This is very simple. I'm just going to ask some questions, and all you got to do is respond with uh-huh if it's true for you, if it's not true for you, or anything in between. Not sure. Okay, just respond. This is not about getting everything right. This is about connecting with your gut. Are you ready? Take a deep breath and exhale. Did you take a breath? Are you outside? Are you warm? Are you thirsty? Do you feel any pain in your body? Do you have a lot of energy? Are you tired? Do you feel emotional? Do you feel sad? Do you feel disappointed with yourself? Do you feel disappointed with somebody else? Are you frustrated with yourself? Are you frustrated with somebody else? Do you feel anger towards yourself? Do you feel anger towards anybody else? Do you feel bitterness towards yourself? Do you feel bitterness towards anybody else? Do you feel seen and heard by the people in your life that you care most about? Are you withholding anything from anybody for any reason because you're afraid of what the consequences will be if you tell the truth? Do you have any siblings? Do you get along well with your siblings? Is there anything you wish you could tell your siblings? Do you have a favorite sibling? Do they know who they are? Do you feel like you earn enough money to sustain yourself? Are you in a partnership? Do you want to be in a partnership? Do you know what your human design is? Is your sacral defined? Is your sacral undefined? Wonderful. Sacral calibration complete. Take another breath. Exhale. Wonderful. If you made it to this part of the video, you're literally part of the 3%. Meaning that you're probably actually open to considering the difference between what your mind thinks is right and what's actually right for you. Those last 3 questions, do you know your human design, is your sacral defined, and is your sacral undefined, might be the most important questions that you can ask yourself. If your sacral is defined, it will look like this in your body graph. It will be colored in. Meaning that these sounds that we all practice are generally going to be true for you. The defined sacral lets you know whether or not you are generating energy for something, and it's true. Ooh, I want to do that. Or it's not. Ew, I don't have energy for that. Fuck that. Ugh. If your sacral looks like this, and you have a white sacral, this means that the sounds that we just practiced there, uh-huhs and uh-uhs, those are not always going to be true for you. They might be true for somebody else. And especially if you're sleeping with somebody or spending a lot of time with them, you're very viable to pick up their sacral responses, and those are going to come through your mouth. And if you don't know whether or not your sacral is defined or undefined, it's like you're missing the speedometer on your vehicle. There's a whole range of information that you're not getting access to because you don't know where to look. Now, you can thank me later for this one, but I made getting information about your body graph and your human design super accessible. All you got to do is visit reikimarco.com. It'll take you here, and then fill in your information, click View Your Chart, and it'll generate you a body graph. In this example that I generated, which is just some made-up days, the sacral is defined. Meaning this person's strategy is to trust those sacral hits. Now, this is just one of 9 sensors, and in this example, those sacral hits will be at the mercy of what's called an emotional wave. Basically, for this person and for anybody else who has the emotional inner authority, right there, emotional inner authority, solar plexus. You have to wait out your emotional waves before your gut can respond accurately for you. There are so many little nuances and so much information in here that is honestly scary because of how accurate it is. And if you want to know that information, all you got to do is come down here and click this button. Buy now. Some people are charging like $50, $100, sometimes $200 for these reports. And I went around and bought them just to see how good they were. And I made something better, and I made it available for $20 because at the bottom of my heart, I think people should have this information. So if you're curious, interested, or excited about human design, get one of those reports. It's probably the best place to start your human design journey. Learn about your strategy and authority and start implementing those two things. If you're a generator or a manifesting generator, this exercise here is called a sacral calibration. I have a whole playlist of them, but you should make your own and practice it every fucking day. See, most people want a complex answer to a simple question. How do I make my life better? If you're a generator or manifesting generator, practice sacral calibrations. If you're a projector, manifestor, or reflector, practice sacral calibrations. Why? Because whether your sacral is defined or undefined, most people's guts are suppressed. Most people's sacral sounds are suppressed. Most people choose to do the thing that makes sense to everybody else but really kills them on the inside. Don't be that person. The only way to avoid doing that is to start coming into contact with your sacral. The only way to come into contact with your sacral is to start practicing. So hopefully you're convinced and you'll start practicing these sacral calibrations. And if you're not willing to make one on your own, visit the playlist Sacral Calibrations and just get to work.